Welcome to Test Dive, conference organized by Nokia.
I'm so excited to be here this year in this particular role because some of you may know last time on last Test Dive I was standing on the same stage but as a host of this wonderful stream. And atmosphere was so good and you as the audience were so amazing that this year I decided to share something with you. What I want to share? Communication matters. How to improve your communication skills. I believe, or at least I choose to believe, that all of you sitting in this room and listen to me online, you have chosen this topic as something of your interest. Or maybe you just wanted to find a nice place to take a nap back there. Either way, I hope after my presentation you will take something for you. Let's start with some warm-up. I would like to get to know you a little better. So I bet that everyone has a smartphone in your pocket, in your purse, in your backpack, even in your head. So please scan the QR code and answer those two questions. First, how would you rate your own communication skills? Your interpersonal skills. How good are you in asking questions, providing feedback? What is your feeling about your own communication skills? And the second question is really similar, but about your nearest surrounding, about people that you are working most closely with, about your teammates, your boss, your partners. Please try scan the QR code and answer those two questions. Try to rate them. I will just switch to the Menti to see the results. All right. Still counting. Thank you for all your answers. The results are quite interesting, but more or less it's something that I expected. Both scales are somewhere in the middle, and I think it's because most of you are working with a team somehow. You are working, you can reach an agreement with people somehow. You can ask questions somehow. But are you equipped enough and do you have enough knowledge to be master of communication? I think there always is room for improvement, and my presentation maybe will be something that will be some kind of Kickstarter for you to deep dive into this topic. But maybe let's start with basics. What actually is communication? Communication is a process of transferring information. Simple as that. But let's look at this step by step. The transfer of information is between participants. Let's say sender and receiver. And for me to be easier to understand this and to have a better flow, let's call them names. So this will be Derek and this will be Veronica. So warm welcome for Derek and Veronica, please everyone. Yes, we are clapping to the cartoon people. But they will be my little helper and they will be helping me through this presentation to explain stuff. So let's say Derek and Veronica are working together in one company, and Veronica has a nice new black t-shirt. And Derek is thinking to say something about this to Veronica, so the intention is appearing in his head. So from intention to verbal sentence, there need to be some kind of encoding process. And in this case, the message is just a verbal sentence, and it is transferred to Veronica via communication channel, which is just an error. But this message could be also text message, it could be chat message, it could be a piece of paper, a pen. Yeah, that's a thing. It's called a letter, and you can send it to someone. And when this is a created message, the communication channel also could be different, could be landline, radio frequency, could be some kind of internet, for example. And you can see on this level, some disruptions may appear. And those disruptions are both, let's say, physical ones. I would say, for example, if you are on the phone, you can just lose signal, right? So communication breakdown. The battery could be dead in your phone. Poczta Polska could fail again and lose your letter. But there are also some kind of psychological disruptions, like Derek and Veronica could have really different beliefs about something. They could have strong emotions, and this is something most common. I believe every one of you has a situation where emotions, take because of emotions, it influences communication. How to avoid them, I will say in a second, but let's say this time, without disruptions, Veronica received the message, some kind of decoding process is going on in her head, she interprets the message and give answer to the Derek. Example, Veronica has a really nice day today. She wake up, she has a good humor, she bought a new t-shirt, she likes this t-shirt, she thinks she's really pretty in this t-shirt. And she's walking to the office and Derek approached to her and said, "Oh, you have a nice t-shirt. Thank you, Derek, nice conversation." But Veronica could have strong belief that in a workplace, you should be as much professional as possible. So when Derek approached to her in the job, what she has in mind is like, "Dude, what is your business about my t-shirt? We are in a workplace." Some different beliefs could influence communication. I will focus mostly on 3 aspects. This stream is called power skills. So I will focus on these 3 power skills about asking questions, active listening, and feedback. And I chose those 3 things, those 3 elements, because I believe that there are some kind of base of communication. And at least in my case was the base of communication where I start to learn those things, I build up later, and some kind of develop myself within this topic, especially like our magnificent host mentioned, I was really shy in my youth, so I had really problem to speak loud in front of other people or even in my team. But I will say this about this a little bit more later. Power of questions. So back in the days in other company that I used to work in Kraków, we had some kind of internal training that I had pleasure to attend. And thank you, Michał Talaga, for this training. It's called Good Question. And till that moment, I knew that questions are divided into 2 parts: closed questions and open questions. But after this training, I learned that there are also good questions and powerful questions, strong questions. So what are those 2? I will focus in a second, but let's start with the basic 2. So closed questions are used, surprise, surprise, for closing. So there are questions to narrow something down. You can use them in doctor examination, for example, survey, checklist. It's just a yes or no, this or that. Open questions are used for opening, to open conversation, to open people. And they're characterized with 5 whys plus how. So when they're at the beginning of question, start with why, where, who, when, and what, plus how, that means this is an open question. They could be used in mentoring, coaching, to problem solving, 5 whys method, but also just when 2 people would like to get to know each other better, because these questions are used for opening. Good questions. I bet all of you had situation in your life that someone asked you a question that you were like, this is a good question. And this is a good question. So the good question is asked in the right moment and touching the nature of the problem, touching even the nature of the speaker. So when you need to think and analyze the answer. It's not like simple answer, that means it was good question. And also it is a tough questions. In a lot of cases, good question is really tough question because you need to focus about the answer, and it's like more requiring for both person who's asking this question and person that is answering the question. So powerful question is more or less open question, but touching the specific nature, the specific area of life. Let's say about emotions. So simple question like, how do you feel? Or what do you feel about this topic? Questions about needs and values. What is important for you? What are your values? What do you need to achieve this goal? And asking questions about the future. What is your goal? Which road would you like to take? What solutions do you see? The fourth area is about impact. If you take this road, how would this impact you? How does this will impact your teammates, your colleagues, your friends, your family? What you can do about this? This impact is really important. So those questions, you don't hear them a lot in daily job, in private life, on daily basis. But I really encourage you to ask those questions to time, because they are opening some kind of doors in you. And I wonder how lots of you are even thinking about those questions like for yourself. So also it's something good to do time and ask some questions like that to yourself, some kind of introspections. So I really encourage you to use those questions. And basically this ability to ask questions, and I learned this like on my experience. I was really shy, like I already mentioned, and I have difficult to speak within a group because I didn't have enough courage to give my opinion like that. Like some people are just talking with a group and shooting their opinion, shooting their exposure themselves. I had the trouble with that, and those questions are really helpful because you could ask question and still be part of the conversation. Because it's just a question. It's a simple thing. It's easy to ask question. And I had a feeling that when I am asking those questions in the group, I'm still part of the group, I'm still part of the conversation without this exposure part. So I think that was really helpful for me. And the second thing is that might be a shocking for someone. If you would like to be seen as a charismatic person, if you would like to be seen as the life of the party, like person with you are like to talk to, like person who builds relationship easy, it's not about talking. It's about listening. Even more about active listening. So what this active listening is all about? Hello, Derek and Veronica, once again. You remember the communication channel, and active listening is a two-way communication, but you, as a speaker, are 100% focused on your intellectual, on the person that you are talking to. I will give you counterexamples and few things what actually active listening is not about. Active listening is not about distractions. So when you are talking with someone, don't look at your phone, don't count trees, looking for butterflies, etc. Be focused on a person. It's not about explaining stuff. It's not about mansplaining stuff, even worse. It's not about monologue, it's a dialogue. So you are focused on that person, and you are not transferring the weight, the focus on the conversation from someone to yourself. You are focused on that person. Active listening is also non-verbal communication. So eye contact, maintain eye contact, maybe not too much to not be weird, but eye contact is important. You can show that person that you are listening to her, so or him. So nod, smile, connect. Active listening is building relationship, building rapport with someone. It's asking question, but listen to the answer. And this is a common mistake that people are doing, asking questions, and instead of listening to the answer, thinking about next questions, about thinking what I would answer for this question, instead of just listening to the answer. So try to listen to the answer. Active listening is a conversation when you are not giving advices. I mean, you can give advices if person which you are talking to is seeking for advices, but don't be wujek dobra rada and shoot advice like, I had a problem, I have a solution, it's easy, and you're just shooting that. No, listen what that person needs at this moment. Conversation without judgment, without defensiveness. It's quite a lot, don't you agree? And I wonder, and next question to you, do you think it's easy? If you have to start active listening right now, I don't know, on a hallway or whatever, driving home with someone, and start listening and use those rules and these practicalities. Do you think it's easy? Raise your hand if you think it's okay, no problem for me. I can see literally 2-3 hands. So, like, statistically not too much. And for me, personally, it's really hard because it's energy consuming. You need to focus, you need to be patient, you need to be present at the same time, at the same room with that person and be 100% focused. Examples to have better understanding of this topic. Once again, 2 scenarios. First scenario, Veronica was on her holidays and going to the office for a coffee break, and she said that she just came back from vacation from Italy. And Derek was in Italy last year, and he loves Italy. He can talk hours about Italy. He is fan of Italy. So when he heard this topic, she started this topic. So just start, talk about his experience, his story, where he went, what he eat, etc., etc. The same scenario. Veronica is going to the office, met Derek, said that she was on her holiday in Italy, and this time Derek has active listening mode on. And instead of talking about Italy, he just asked simple question. How was it? He was on a vacation, how was it? So she started her own story, starting to explain what she ate, where she went, etc. And he asked the third question, why did you choose Italy? And that was some kind of opening question, the open question used for opening. Because there was a quite good story about why she chose Italy instead of other countries, and she started to open exposure, and she feels listen and create some kind of relationship with him. I hope you can see the difference, because in the first case scenario, Derek some kind of steal the thunder of Veronica. She started the topic, and he started talking about this topic. In the second scenario, there was a dialogue. Okay, Derek asked a lot of questions, but it helps Veronica to open. And don't get me wrong, it's a two-way communication. So of course, and when he was in Italy, also would like to say something about Italy, but don't do it like immediately. Don't steal this thunder. Ask questions, build a relationship, and then you can also talk about your own experience. What I would like you to remember from this example, and basically about active listening, because it's not like coaching therapy, it's not coaching session, but try to use at least few tips or few rules that I presented, and maybe this conversation with others will be more meaningful. The third thing I would like to talk about is feedback. I know, I imagine all of you know feedback, but to be on the same page. Feedback is the information that you are sharing with someone about the person's behavior and consequences of this behavior. So this is the first mistake that many people are doing, that feedback is not about people. Feedback is about people's behavior, about people's actions and consequences of this action. And the purpose of feedback is to either encourage or discourage behavior. So I would say that feedback is really positive thing, because if you say something for people to change, you are doing it for that people to improve themselves. So evaluation or judgment is not feedback. But how to give feedback? And you can find a really plenty of exercise, plenty of models in internet or in books. But I will just share one example, one model. It's called FACE, and it's easy to remember because it's a face. And this is of course acronym. So when you are giving feedback, think about facts. Focus on facts. Don't speculate, don't hallucinate, don't stop basing on rumors, and someone says about something, someone is doing something, etc., etc. No, fact is fact. With fact, we cannot discuss. What is done is done. So first, focus on facts, situation, task, behavior, actions, what actually was done. Then it's attitude. And by this I mean your own attitude, your own approach, feelings, because when you are providing feedback, you are giving it from your perspective, the first person perspective. So what did you feel about this situation, this behavior? Say this to the other person. Then we have consequences, result, impact. How these actions, this behavior, impacted others. It impacted you or your teammates. And if this is let's say, positive feedback about positive behavior, we can just say, keep doing it. Good job, or keep doing it more. But when it's negative feedback, or what I would like to say, it's constructive feedback, and I especially would like to emphasize that in my opinion there is no negative feedback, because all feedback, if it's providing well, is about improving others. So it could be about negative behavior of someone, but feedback itself is not negative. It's about positive change to change some kind of behavior. So if this is a constructive feedback, you can act expectations at the end. So change this behavior to do something else. You can provide help. You can ask of idea of this person. What do you think you could do next in the future? The next sentence could seem a little bit cliche, I know, but I really believe that feedback is a gift. Imagine a situation when someone is driving bicycle and in front of that person is a big hole. And that person is driving, is a little bit distracted and don't see this hole. And you are looking at the situation and if you don't do anything, this person will fall and break a knee or something. So if you turn around and say, not my problem, not my responsibility, this person will fall. That means you don't care about this person. But if you say something, if you provide the feedback, this is an exaggeration situation, but provide the feedback to change a course. You are driving too fast, please brake or something. That means you care about this person because you don't want to see them fall. So that's why I think feedback is a gift, and that's why I encourage you also to use feedback. But many people are, let's say, resistant to feedback. They are afraid to be feedbacking, or people are afraid to give feedback because of the reaction of other people. By nature, we don't like to be criticized, We are defensiveness, like immediately. So how to receive feedback, to be seen as professional, and to don't have troubles in the future, to receive feedback. Because I believe the change starts with us. So if we learn how to receive feedback and show others how to receive feedback, maybe we can influence also others. Once again model, this time called latte. It's easy to remember because it's a coffee. And also, once again, acronym. Start with listening. When someone will approach to you with the feedback, don't interrupt, don't disturb, just listen to the end. Probably this person also prepared themselves, or it was hard for this person to approach to you, so be kind and just listen. Then acknowledge. If this feedback is provided well, it's about facts. Like I already said, we cannot discuss with facts. It was done. So don't be defensive. Don't say it's not your fault or I wasn't there if you were there. Just acknowledge the fact. You can ask for examples if you're not sure what that person is talking about. But most important is just to acknowledge the feedback. Then take action or don't. Because you can also don't take action and say, I would not change this behavior because of something. Or you can take action and say, okay, I will change this behavior to do something else. And both options are fine, but say why you decide to do this or decide to do the other thing. Then thanks. Sometimes it could be hard because we are corrected and we need to thanks for that. It's like sometimes against our nature, but try to thanks because that person also, like I already said, could have really struggling to approach to you. And then encourage to do more in the future. Be open for feedback. And if you use those letters, if you use this latte, I think it's really helpful for you to structurize conversation. If you remember those letters, you will be seen as an adult, as a professional, because you are not defensiveness, you are agree with person, you are thankful, it seems professional. Okay, let's circle back to the beginning of my presentation. I show you the communication channel and that this during this process some disruptions could appear. And just for you to remind, these disruptions could be strong emotions, some habits, different culture, even different language that we are talking, hidden intentions, different beliefs, inability to put ourselves in other person's shoes. So what to do with those disruptions? I believe if you focus on those 3 power skills and deep dive into it, because each of this topic could have different workshops all day or all week workshops about questions, listening and feedback. But if you try to deep dive into it and try to develop those things, it will be easier for you to minimize at least those disruptions. Because if you don't know what is other person's intention, you could just ask. If you are active listening and not talk too much all the time, you can just listen what that person needs. And this communication will be much, much easier. If some person have habits or something that annoys you, some behavior, you can just provide the feedback and maybe change it in the future. So I really encourage you to deep dive into this topic, those three skills. It really helped me in my career developing, in my personal life as well. And I believe that's all from my side. So thank you, Veronica, thank you, Derek. I think we have some time for questions. Anyone? I can see some hand right over there.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for presentation. I'm Marina and I have a question. how to communicate with person who is not an active listener, but you have to communicate with them, and this person only focused on themselves. And do we have maybe any way to lead this person, maybe to more proper way to communicate in more convenient way for both of you? Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good question. I personally think that you could approach to that kind of person, and first of all, you can use something that already show the feedback, and if this is some kind of continuous behavior, you could provide the feedback, prepare yourself, go to that person and say, because of you are behaving this way, I feel this and this, we cannot reach agreement, etc. Just give a feedback. Or the second thing you could do is just agree how to talk. I mean, you are approaching this person and say, we need to, I don't know, make some kind of decision. So please, now I will be talking with you, and I don't know, let's agree on some word or something that, this will be our communication on some level. I mean, agree on how we are discussing. I can see some hands also there.
Okay, maybe me first. Adam here. I don't know if it's also a feedback model called a compliment sandwich. Do you know about it, and do you think it should be called as a feedback model?
Yeah, I'm aware of this compliment sandwich, and I personally I'm not using it because if you are asking me about is it good to use it or no, ask yourself, would you like to hear such a, let's say, compliment sandwich? Like, you are going to someone and say, I love your shoes. You have terrible job today, but you have nice glasses as well. It's not like real, right? It's not truthful. It's some kind of, For me, I'm not using it. I would say it's your decision, it's your choice. But in my opinion, it's better to be like truthful with the person you're talking to. I hope that answers your question. And someone.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Mateusz, and I want to ask, what should we do in situation where our colleague from a team is not so keen to talk about things not directly connected with our work? So you showed the examples with, let's say, talking about vacation, about like some kind of private stuff, but sometimes in our work we meet people who just want to keep the communication professional and don't go into that topics. So should we try to encourage them to build some kind of close relation, or just keep it professional and let them be?
Mm-hmm. My answer will be quite easy. Ask that person. That's it. Because I don't know. I don't know this person. I don't know why she or he is behaving this way. So you can just approach and say, I noticed that you are not really into topics beside job, and ask the question and you will know the answer. It's easy as that.
Okay, thanks.
What else? Who else? I think we have some time still. Quiet. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your other questions. Now the hard job goes to Kuba, because you have to pick one person who asked you the most interesting question.
It's really hard, like you said. I don't know if it's the most interesting, but it resonated with me. It was good question over here. Our colleagues in the second row, yeah, in a blue sweatshirt.
Congratulations! Big applause, please. And the really big applause goes to Jakub as well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kuba.
Thanks.